Welcome to Blissfield Elementary. In Blissfield Community Schools, teachers are released to follow their passions and dreams that touch the lives of children. Unique opportunities are therefore provided for students to begin to dream about their role in society. As teachers nurture those dreams and students go down the road of reaching their aspirations. I'd like to show you my dream as an educator, the Blissfield Environmental Life Lab, where students excel using the investigation, exploration, and collaboration in the field of science. Science is life, and on the way to discovering truth, one finds true life and makes impacts on the world in which they live. Uniqueness is not found in one or two lessons, but in a hands-on, minds-on approach to science. To make an impact on students, the real world is brought to students' educational environment. Blissfield Elementary has a unique environment of students learning and interacting. As an elementary staff member, my vision has united Blissfield Community School and the community to secure funding for the Blissfield Environmental Life Lab, commonly called the BELL. It is at the cutting edge of life science investigation. Since our school is in a northern climate, it is sometimes difficult for students to observe and experiment year-round with plants and animals and witness all stages of development from young to adult without interruption. The BELL has become an arboretum and terrarium furnished with various habitats and biomes for observation and experimentation, allowing the entire district to use as an extended classroom. A 2,000-gallon freshwater stream and pond, butterfly house, bird aviary, herpetile area, and an incredible invertebrate zoo provide habitats in various biomes and ecosystems that offers areas to study throughout the school year. Blissfield students are now doing experiments in obtaining knowledge as they make predictions about life science and our environment. Knowledge is deeply set as children invest part of themselves in exploring plants and animals or various habitats found within the climatically controlled greenhouse. In 1976, I was asked during an interview for a 5th grade teaching position what I thought could be done with the 3 enclosed outdoor courtyards. My quick response was to make one a life science center, one an earth science center, and the third a physical science center. The principal was interested and I was hired. At that time, there were no funds available. There were many interesting discussions about the possibilities, but not until Ted Case from the Blissfield Foundation for Educational Excellence asked teaching staff for ideas they would like to see implemented in the school. I submitted the idea for the Life Science Center and was approached a second time to submit first-class detailed plans. Using the original plans from 1976, plans were submitted once again. The administration and the Board of Education asked for a presentation, and after deliberation, if monies could be found, they would support with financial upkeep and maintenance. The Blissfield Foundation found numerous community supporters, and my grant writing was successful. After 20 years of hearing, "nice idea," but no funding available, the first $10,000 grant money was received, followed up by an unanimous $51,000 matching grant. Ground was broken in the summer of 1999, with the BELL open to the elementary school that fall. BELL was at first called the Blissfield Elementary Life Lab, but was changed to the Blissfield Environmental Life Lab, opening many more grant opportunities. Countless grants have been written, and we have gone through the process many times. The latest grant received was the $30,000 Michigan Green Energy Grant to help empower the electrical needs by using a wind generator and solar panels. The exciting part as an educator is being personally released by the administration and the Board of Education to follow my science passion. I feel privileged and fortunate to be in a school district where teachers are released to follow their passions and have the support of the community. My classroom is another example where I have the freedom to be creative. Blissfield is a unique community where the partnership is demonstrated over and over again. The BELL is only one of the numerous opportunities that teachers have been released to reaching the learning palette of the children in the district. A small rural community at its best, making our best better by those who believe in individuals, administration, and the board to make a difference. I believe science is life, and as one travels on the way to discovering truth, one finds true life and makes impacts on the community. I have found that to make an impact on students, the real world needs to be brought to the students' educational environment, and that environment needs to be as real as the real world. My approach to the entire curriculum is through the discipline of science. The Bell is a unique environment full of students learning and interacting. I firmly believe in a hands-on, minds-on approach to teaching and learning. The results speak for themselves. This approach has proven to be the most effective way to teach young minds. The students grow and become autonomous learners. My dream was to create an environment in which students could excel and open a whole new world using the investigation, exploration, and the collaboration in the field of science. The journey has been long with many detours. No experience would be complete without setbacks and challenges. But what makes this whole experience amazing, particularly in a public school setting, is that I learned from my mistakes. I was allowed the opportunity to try and try again, and finally realize my dream, the creation of the Bell. This Learning Environmental Life Lab is a place where students, parents, and teachers can explore science firsthand with real life experiences. No journey is fulfilled without the help of friends, community members, fellow staff, and most of all, my family. Everyone has willingly lent a helping hand, a word of encouragement, much needed knowledge, and financial support. This created a collaborative situation for further academic stimulation. Our community has rallied around the Bell dream, nurturing it and helping to make it reality. I believe it takes families in a community working together to make the school system successful. Blissfield is such a school. I designed the Life Lab to be connected to my classroom with access through a separate entrance. My students and now the entire school district have the opportunity to become hands-on learners through their experiences in the Environmental Life Lab. With this unique tool, I am able to do creative lessons with cross-curricular activities. Since the Life Lab is in close proximity to my classroom, I have become the official Bell curator. Currently, students are involved in assisting with the initial upkeep of the Bell. At the same time, they are conducting their own experiments and investigating many different types of plants, animals, and ecosystems. Not only is this a tremendous experience for students, but also for anyone stepping through the doors of the Bell. By giving the students opportunity, freedom, and independence to explore, they can make connections and learn in many ways not possible from a textbook. When an individual, whether they be a student, teacher, community member, when they cross through the threshold in the Bell, they are transformed into scientists, botanists, oceanographers, explorers, inventors, writers, mathematicians, artists, and so much more. Allowing students to experience science in a cross-curricular, hands-on manner builds self-confidence in all other social and academic areas. In short, they begin to dream. We have worked closely with the Blissfield Foundation for Educational Excellence, who became the catalyst to secure funding and community support. The Giles Foundation, Blissfield PTO, Blissfield Rotary, Blissfield Lions Club, Blissfield Garden Club, Lenawee County Education Foundation, the Mimic Foundation, Blissfield Campfire, Farver Foundation, Vistiana of Ypsilanti, Ruther Center, and an anonymous foundation have partnered with the school district. Many local businesses have made a long-time commitment to the elementary staff and students to see my dream continue on. Individual classroom teachers, along with their students, parents, and community members, have invested themselves, their time, and their resources to develop a unique learning tool and state-of-art facility, not only for our district students, but across district use as other schools, once hearing about the lab, want to tour. Many hours of volunteer work was organized. The generous supporters are recognized with commemorative bricks found in the lab's flooring, laid by the elementary school students and a parent volunteer. The bell is directly connected to Mr. Koppelman's classroom, where 5th grade students may enter. Other bell visitors may enter through the open-air canopy, entering by the main entrance. The visitor will first notice a student-built model of a sculptured giant milkweed with a migratory monarch butterfly and the life cycle replicas in the foyer. In the climatically controlled greenhouse, it is to be noted that all animals found in the bell are similar to those found in various ecosystems and have been purchased at local pet shops. The first animals the visitor will notice are found in the 700-gallon Michigan freshwater ecosystem tank. Across the aisle from this tank is the tortoise habitat. Going down the walkway on the right is the mammal shelf area where hamsters, gerbils, and mice are found. There are also invertebrate animals found in various tanks on these shelves as well. Next, individuals will see the 1,500-gallon saltwater ecosystem. Nearby is the freshwater pond stream ecosystem. The pond has fish from Asia, while the stream contains fish from Australia, Africa, and South America. The pond stream area is also called the tropical rainforest ecosystem. On the outside wall of this area are found various amphibian tanks. Next, the visitor will find the bird aviary and herpetile area with animals representing various continents and biomes. The remaining area of the bell is given to plant tables where various plants are grown for the community service projects. What makes the bell unique? There are schools that have a greenhouse to grow plants. There are a few schools that have animals in a life lab setting. What makes the bell unique is the attempted combination of a life lab and growing plants in various ecosystems. A tropical rainforest area, a saltwater tank, a freshwater pond stream tank, and a few desert tanks are 4 of the ecosystems found within the bell. Mammals, birds, fish, reptiles, and amphibians are found in the various ecosystems and tanks. A variety of plants can be found throughout the bell.
In kindergarten, our students utilize the Life Lab for 2 of our 4 science units. To begin the year, we work with our 5 senses and visit the bell as observers as we describe the lab using our senses. In our unit for living and non-living things, we become participants as well as observers. Because the majority of our science learning comes from hands-on activities, the bell provides us with many opportunities to decipher between living and non-living things, experiment with various habitats to show how living things thrive and survive, and witness growth and maturity of many living plants and animals. Our kindergarten students are able to make the connection between life and survival requirements and bridge the gap of life concepts through the use of the bell.
In 1st grade, we used the Blissfield Elementary Life Lab to compare plant and animal attributes, to identify the life needs of animals, to classify animals and their characteristics, and to compare inherited traits. We bring our 1st grade students to the Life Lab to explore plant and animal life in new and exciting ways. We can also borrow animals, bringing them to our classroom for activities that require longer observation periods. Today, we were in the Life Lab working on an integrated language arts and science activity. We have been studying the use of descriptive language in writing and animal characteristics in science. This lesson encourages students to compare plant and animal characteristics while describing their physical attributes, using adjectives to write sentences about what they see, feel, smell, and hear. Students are observing, comparing, drawing conclusions, and recording their observations while working together on this activity. Our students get to discover firsthand animal and plant life in the Life Lab. They can use all of their senses to experience these science concepts. These experiences help students to truly understand what we are studying in the classroom.
I use the bell to support, reinforce, and complement our reading and literacy programs. For example, in our anthology books, we have a nonfiction story titled Snakes by Patricia DeMuth. In this story, the children learn the facts about snakes. The pictures that go with the story are not photographs. It's difficult for the children to understand what the scales of a snake feel like. It's hard to see the flicker of a snake's tongue. So after we've read about snakes, we take a walk to the bell and we experience snakes firsthand. The bell allows us to observe and touch real snakes. Many children have a fear of snakes. The bell provides a non-threatening, safe environment for children to become acquainted with snakes and touch them if they care to. Our anthology book also includes stories about mice, spiders, and sea animals. And once again, the bell provides the children with the opportunity to observe, touch, and interact with mice and their families, spiders, including a tarantula, and sea creatures found in the saltwater pool. What the bell provides is better than any zoo. The kids can get up close and personal with all of the animals. In addition to supporting our literacy curriculum, by using the bell, the children are taught respect for the animals, an appreciation for diversity, an understanding of ecosystems and how they work together, teamwork, and that all creatures need to be fed and cared for in a kind and gentle way. For story time, I am currently reading Cornelia and the Show and Tell Showdown. It's about a girl, Cornelia, who brings her pet corn snake to school for show and tell. Cornelia explains to her class that Corny is strong. He can open the lid of his cage if it is not secured, just like the cages in the bell. The children want to pet Corny, and that's okay, but they're told to stroke him with one finger from the back of his head to his tail, just like we've been told. Cornelia goes on to explain that Corny doesn't bite, but don't put your fingers near his mouth because he might think they are food. We've heard that before. As the story plays out, one particular boy, Jason, holds Corny incorrectly, pokes at him, and puts his fingers near Corny's mouth. Corny has had enough and escapes from Jason and is loose in the classroom. You'll have to read the rest of the story to find out what happens. The bell has corn snakes, and they come in cages just like Corny. The time is now right to introduce the children to the corn snakes housed in the bell. After hearing this story and having been instructed on how to handle snakes, the children are ready for their one-on-one encounter with our Corny. It's a sight to see second graders handling snakes like little experts.
One of the areas of science we present to third grade students is adaptations of living things. Being able to cope with the different extremes in an environment is needed for plants and animals to survive. During this unit, we go to the Life Lab and take a close look at leaves. In a rainforest, leaves have to cope with large amounts of rainfall. Many leaves have waxy, waterproof surfaces and drip tips, which act like spouts, allowing the water to run off the tip of the leaf. Plants in a desert have a waxy coating over the leaves and stem to hold water in so they are able to survive with little rainfall. In cold environments, needle-like leaves remain on plants year-round, collecting sunlight. The needle-like leaves don't allow much water evaporation, which helps the plant survive through bitter temperatures. We have many plants growing in the Life Lab that the students can touch and look at to experience. Across the school, students experience a hands-on, minds-on approach with the animals and plants in the Life Lab. They show us their interpretations with their visual art projects.
In 5th grade, the bell is used for various activities that align to Michigan's science content expectations. Today, 5th graders are working with a Madagascar hissing cockroach with focus on animal adaptations. Instead of working in the bell, I will bring the insects to my classroom for students to do their observations.
One of the hands-on activities supported by the bell is the Main Street flower planting. As a service learning project, the 5th graders plant flower sprouts in the bell that were purchased by the Downtown Development Authority. Students care for the seedlings until they are ready to be transplanted in urns and planters throughout downtown. The plants are a source of pride for the students and the community.
My name is Mary Barks, and I am the Life Lab Technician. It is my job to take care of the animals and their habitats year-round and organize and train the parent volunteers that help us in the Life Lab. However, the most important and enjoyable part of my job is to teach our 5th graders how to take care of the animals in the Life Lab. We call them our zookeepers, and they come to our bell in groups of 6 to 8 students rotating daily. Their homeroom class has an assigned day of the week. They come into the Life Lab and feed, water, and clean the cages of the animals. They also learn to handle the animals when their jobs are completed, which keeps our animals people-friendly and gives the students the confidence to explore the animals' many attributes. The favorite animals to hold are the pond turtles, hamsters, corn snakes, and bearded dragons, and occasionally the rose-haired tarantulas. I also assist the classroom teachers with their students when they come to the bell for their science lessons.
Before we go in the bell, while we're checking in, we sanitize our hands so none of the germs from our hands can get the animals sick while we hold them and touch them.
As zookeepers, we feed the animals. We feed the animals the food they need to be fed.
You have to clean the animal's cage to keep it healthy, and it makes the cage look nice.
I am watering the birds right now, and when I am done, I am going to check the other animals.
Rose-haired tarantulas are the calmest, non-venomous tarantulas. They are originally found in Chile. They live 3 to 4 years and eat crickets and other insects.
Also, it is very important to have an adult supervision at all times while holding the tarantulas because they are very delicate.
The most important thing you need to remember about holding animals is you always need adult supervision. One way to hold the bearded dragon is to put your hand under it and support the tail, or to let it on your shirt and hold it.
As we check out of the Bell Lab, we use hand sanitizer to protect us and our classmates.
We help the zookeepers by making sure they know the right food to feed to the right birds, finch food for finch birds, and making sure to change the papers correctly, emptying the water, washing out the bowls and refilling them, emptying the food bowls, refilling those. The Bell Lab gives the students the opportunity to see how animals act in their own environment.
One of the ways I use the Bell Lab in Blissfield is I use the Madagascar hissing cockroaches. Why I'm using them is to help the kids understand the metric system. So what we do is we take the Madagascar hissing cockroach and we spend about 10 minutes where the kids will take the cockroach, they'll kind of befriend it and get comfortable with it, and they'll give it a name. And they'll, in their journals, they have the scientific method that they'll create, and they'll kind of pose a problem or a question. And I give them 2 choices. They can either pick if they want to test how fast the cockroach can travel in kilometers per hour, or how many times its own body weight it can pull in grams. So those are 2 of the choices that they get to use for their scientific method. So then they go through and they make a hypothesis. And then they make a prediction. They list all the materials that they're going to need to go through their experiment to test their cockroach. And then finally they create a data table where they'll measure the different variables that they'll be testing. After about 3 days of learning about the Madagascar hissing cockroach and testing the Madagascar hissing cockroach with the metric system and measuring how fast it traveled or how many times its own body weight it pulled, we've completed the scientific method and also learned about the Madagascar hissing cockroaches at the same time. The benefit of having the Bell Lab in this case is if we were trying to learn about the metric system, we could go around and measure the length of something or the weight of something. Ultimately, having the Bell Lab allows us to bring cockroaches over to my classroom, and the kids just automatically light up. They love the cockroaches, they really want to get involved with them, and all of a sudden they're learning about the metric system and having a lot of fun at the same time. So it would be really hard to do this without the cockroaches. You can buy them from a lab, but then to actually have a Bell Lab where you can just go get them, bring them over and use them is a huge benefit. It would be really hard to do this without that.
In the vertebrate class, I can come over and we can look at some of the vertebrates that Mr. Koppelman keeps over there. Those would include a variety of reptiles, both snakes and lizards, several species. So that helps when we do the reptile group. Also when we do fish, Mr. Koppelman has not only some freshwater species indigenous here in Michigan, but he also has a saltwater tank in which the kids can actually put their hands in and can feel various organisms, not so much the fish, but when we do invertebrates, that's where that comes in very handy. Invertebrate zoology has a direct application as well. We can come over here and he has insects that we can look at and look at the characterizations of the insects that he has, what makes an insect an insect. In his saltwater touch tank, he also will have sea urchins and anemones that we can look at, that we can touch, that we can actually watch them feed. So when we do mollusks, we can see animals over here as well. Also some cnidarians, so he keeps those on hand. In addition to a large group of reptiles, he also has several bird species. So we do a separate group in my vertebrate zoology class just on birds. They're a very large group. And he has several species over here, so we can look at various types of birds, the characterizations of birds, the different feathers, the different beaks, and look at the general physiology that makes a bird a bird. Having the Bell Lab there I found to be profitable. We can always learn from the textbook, but having somewhere to go where we can actually do hands-on or see the animals and actually have a visualization of the real thing only helps and benefits the kids here at Blissfield High School.
Looking back on the Bell, I've always been a science, nature-oriented type of a guy. But the Bell really showed me how much fun learning about nature, animals, all that stuff can really be. And it's really pushed me in the direction of the science category. And I've continued that throughout high school with anatomy, zoology, all that kind of stuff. So the hands-on learning in the Bell really has helped me.
Looking back, Bell benefited me because a lot like the other students in my class, I was a hands-on learner as a little one, which most people that age are. And being able to look at the animals as you learn about them, or if you have to write about them or anything like that, it helped to have some sort of thing to look at while you're doing an assignment.
Using the Michigan Educational Assessment Program, or MEAP, a testing tool to measure the state's science benchmarks, the state of Michigan tests all 5th grade students in the areas of life, earth, space, and physical science. The percentage of 5th grade Blissfield students proficient in MEAP scores have been compared to the percentage of all 5th grade students proficient in the state of Michigan. The state of Michigan changed the MEAP format in the year 2002. More students across the state were found proficient using this new format. We have noted that the state's average has shown an increase, while during the same time period, Blissfield has shown a greater percentage. Since the Bell has been in use the last 5 years, we have been 12 to 17 points above the state's average. Dreams are encouraged to be created, nurtured to start down a path, and students being prepared to achieve. Looking at environmental problems like coral reef depletion or global warming our world is facing, the Bell offers students opportunities to dream, to find solutions to ongoing challenges faced in the world. There just might be a student 1,500 miles from the nearest ocean and in the Midwest who, through the uniqueness of the Bell, is able to create innovative ways to replenish our coral reefs or find renewable energy solutions.